first 6 minutes of the game. Brown with the steal. Jalen. Happy.
Knicks Fan TV. It was a 110-89 loss. The Knicks lose to the Celtics in Boston tonight. Tough loss for the orange and blue. See black here. NYC Jedi on the other side.
What's good?
Jedi, I got to start it off with the leader of the team, or the de facto leader of this team. Kristaps Porzingis is nowhere to be found tonight. He's supposed to be the leader of this team. Melo's gone. He's supposed to set the tone. It just immediately as the game started, there was no body language. There was no energy from KP, and that sank.
I'm hearing you, man, but I think we got to reel it in a little. We got to reel it in a little with KP. It's the third game of the season. You got to give him a break. There's an immense amount of pressure on him to be the leader of this team. He's young. He's new. Yes, I put a little blame on him in terms of the body language and maybe not stepping up to be a leader. But these are growing pains. And we're going to have to deal with this as KP develops into the player we want him to be.
I mean, I think part of that was the guard play. There's a lack of ball movement. There's a lack of offensive fluidity that's not getting KP the ball in the spots. You saw a couple times early in the game when they switched on the pick and roll and you had KP being guarded by Kyrie Irving and Tim Hardaway Jr. twice is jacking up three-pointers. I mean, that's when, you can't get KP going that way. If they're on a 2-on-1, 3-on-1 break, you're giving it to KP
100%.
at the foul line.
100%.
Offensive foul.
100%.
You're not setting them up properly, and that speaks to the lack of guard play.
We can say that too, but you got to give it to Boston for the defensive plan. And this is going to happen a lot during the season because this is going to be a repeating conversation we're going to have on and on. KP's got to get the ball in the right spots. KP's got to do this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, KP is the only
lack of point guard play.
Well, of course, it's going to be the lack of point guard play, but it's going to happen every game. He's the only option on the team as the opposing coach. What are you telling your players? Guard Courtney Lee? No. Pressure KP. Take him make him uncomfortable, be physical with him, get him out of his game, because if you get out of his game, we're going to beat him by 40. So,
well, that's where the coach is going to have to earn his stripes, man. He's going to have to make those adjustments. Given the deficiencies we have with ball movement, we're going to have to get creative and how we get KP his shots. I mean, I thought Sessions played a bit better for his third game overall. You saw some dribble penetration there, but it was nothing to write home about. I thought Jared Jack was terrible, and so was Ron Baker tonight.
You can't expect Ramon Sessions. Again, we expected this, but we'll reiterate it. Ramon Sessions had a better game for sure, but we can't expect him to do things that he's never done before. And he's not going to turn into a guy who's going to pour in 40 quality minutes at the point guard position. That's just asking too much. Even if this was a Ramon Session of 2 years ago, it would have been too much.
Yeah, he got 25 minutes tonight. 8 points. How many dimes? Yeah, 7 dimes. So yeah, I thought he had, pretty good game.
Much better game. But again, that's the most he's going to play. He's not going to give us 35, 40 minutes off the bench. It's at the starting point guard position. So although he did play a little bit better, we still didn't get the dynamic point guard play we need in this point guard driven league. We're just not getting it, and obviously it showed as it was impossible for him to really get the team going. I mean, we didn't hit a 3-pointer until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Courtney Lee hit the first 3-pointer of the game. And going into Courtney Lee, in this game that lacked a lot of energy and a lot of heart, Courtney Lee was probably the only one that was consistent from the beginning to the end of the game and actually putting up a fight. And that's one of the traits that I liked about Courtney Lee when he got here. He has his limitations sometimes, but you know what you're going to get from him every night. He's going to bring it. The problem is with this lineup that this coach has out there is Courtney Lee and Timmy, they can't play together at the 2 and the 3. Somebody's going to be undersized at the 3.
Yeah, you're putting
So you may have to bring Tim Hardaway off the bench.
Biggest thing I noticed is that Jeff Hornacek has not really trotted out the best lineup over the first 3 games. I think this starting lineup is ill-equipped to handle. Well, rather than ill-equipped, they're just ill-fitting. They're not good pieces.
Would you bring Timmy off the bench?
Yeah, why not? But here it is. It's either you put Courtney or Timmy at the 2. And Lance at the 3 or Beasley at the 3, but you have to change the lineup. I don't like this lineup. You put the wings at a disadvantage already. Jaylen Brown was killing them.
Jaylen Brown was killing it. Yeah, he might be in line for most improved player, man. He was killing it.
He's killing it.
Hey, he's gonna be a problem.
And Jason Tatum wasn't playing around either when he was on the wings. So you can't. Yeah,
they're gonna be a formidable duo.
That hurt us from the start. Let's take a look at the positives here. I mean, Kanter poured in a great double-double in 30 minutes of play, -10 on a plus-minus. 16, 19 rebounds total, 10 of them being on the defensive end. I mean, what else can this guy not do except shoot 3-pointers?
Yeah, he was certainly one of the few bright spots of the game, along with Courtney Lee. I thought Enes Kanter played well. He's another one that brings that heart. He brings that passion every night. But that has to radiate throughout the team, and that starts with the coaching. And you see Steve Mills, you see Scott Perry there at every game. I think they're keeping an eye out on this coach and trying to see how he, engages with these players and see what he can get out of them. Because it's really going to be important for him to get that heart out of him at the very least. They're going to be deficient on certain nights. They're going to be considerable underdogs against a lot of teams and a lot of nights. But you're going to have to see that heart and that tenacity every night. I think that's going to be the most important thing that Hornacek has. It's
concerning to see that 3 games into the season this game seemed like they were 30 games in already. There's
Bobby Marks on Twitter was like, this team looks like they're playing in April.
Yeah, they're 9-29. They're going nowhere. They're in the doldrums. They're not going to the playoffs. Everybody else is, and they're not invited to the party. And this is the 3rd game of the season, and that's really a concern to me. And I don't know if that falls on the coach or if it falls on the players or the leadership perspective. But the team is young, and you need someone out there, whether it be the coach or someone in the lineup on the roster, that is trying to continually stay positive and keep their shit righted. Because if this is going to be a long season, as it's very, very we're beginning to see the early shapes of that, you're going to play out a lot of these players in terms of just overall attitude. And by the looks of things, by December, we're not going to even see quality basketball in New York.
Shit, by December we might not even see this coach in New York. Like I said, man, I think he needs to tread lightly here and make sure he's getting the best out of these players. Regardless, win or lose, regardless of who they matched up with, he better be making sure he's getting the most out of these plays, and especially Kristaps Porzingis. But I think at the end of the day, switch the lineup up, bring Timmy off the bench, start Beasley, let him bring some attitude, some swag to the offense. You still have Courtney Lee to kind of balance out on some defense with KP and Kanter. So you bring that mix. Some nights you might want to start Lance for a couple minutes, depending on who the matchup is against. But the Tim Hardaway, Courtney Lee in the lineup together, that experiment is failing.
Yeah, I'm all for stability. But if he has to switch the lineup a little bit or make it a little bit more flexible, I alluded to this earlier in the season. I'm for it, because right now the tandem of Lee and Hardaway at the wing is just not working, and I think it puts us at a disadvantage really going into the game. And if you take a look at it, we've fallen behind in most of these games within the beginning of the second quarter. So it looks like I think something's got to change on the coaching side as well.
So once again, Knicks Nation, it's a 110-89 loss to the Celtics. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think about the game, what you thought about the game. What do you think about a possible lineup change? Should we bring Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench? As usual, subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button below. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at KnicksFanTV. And tune in on Friday when we bring you the post-game reaction. Knicks Nets at the Garden. Peace.